I heard? What if I gave? What if my hand reached out to everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within His Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. And I know the first step begins within me. What if I felt perfectly whole? What if my heart opened to everything with love? What if I knew only the truth? What if my mind accepted everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within His Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. Oh, Mother, Father, Spirit, guide us from above. Our sons and daughters look to us to show them love. Come, sisters, brothers, let's hold hands and sing as one, that we will be what we've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within His Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? Love. What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I heard? What if I gave? What if my hand reached out to everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within His Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. And I know the first step begins within me. What if I felt perfectly whole? What if my heart opened to everything with love? What if I knew only the truth? What if my mind
Begin Within Ministries proudly presents Sofa Sundays with your hosts, Reverend Dr. Michelle Izuku and Reverend Jeannie Sovereigns. Sundays at 11:11 a.m. Arizona time and rebroadcasts on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Come join us on the sofa every Sunday morning. Sofa Sundays with Michelle and Jeannie. Learn more at www.beginwithinministries.com. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.
Well, good morning, and welcome. And I don't know where I put my microphone. Let's see if my mic wants to be on. True, I need a little base for the microphone. I don't know where that went.
What?
That should be working.
Oh.
Base for the microphone.
That.
Well, good morning. I did not get our intention rocks done. If anybody wants to come get their intention rocks this morning, they're right here. Do 3 different intentions every day, every time I'm here. Thank you, son. I do usually one for myself and what I'm bringing to the world, and one for my children, and one for myself and my husband. So I usually have 3 rocks that I like to grab. Thank you. Miss Ann always grabs the flower pots.
I don't know why.
So don't anybody touch that flower pot.
That's right.
It's very upsetting. She did it once, and none of us ever heard from Dr. Stan. No, we just know better. We know, like, that's Miss Ann's. It's not a rock, but that's okay. It's still an intention. But welcome to Sofa Sundays this morning, this beautiful Sunday, hot Sunday in Arizona. We are surviving. If any of you not in Arizona are wondering, it's only 95 degrees right now. It's not even noon yet. So, but we're going to be just fine. And thank you so much, True Davis, for all your work and setup this morning. We appreciate you so much. And we have a special guest. You'll recognize her because she's been here before. She is my sister in spirit, but I have sisters in spirit, but this is my sister in spirit. We have a little duo that we've done for years, and we got to do that like last year at the concert, which was really fun. And don't worry, we're going to be doing some more stuff. It's brewing. I can feel it. We're going to have another concert. That's another thing we're going to need to start talking about. But without further ado, Miss Deborah will pray us in this morning and get us started.
So if you feel comfortable, let's close your eyes and begin with a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. With the next breath, allow yourself to turn inward to the inner being that resides within each one of us. This inner being is calm and peace and loving. Feel the warmth of the power that lives within each one of us. This is the divine. And as we talk today about being, living, thinking, talking, acting through this divine inner being, recognize that this is what unifies all of us. This is the one power. And this one power lives, breathes, acts, thinks, and feels through each and every one of us. And as we gather today, either in person, physical, or over the internet waves, this energy reaches out to each and every one of us through healing, through that unconditional love. And I spread this energy, this frequency out beyond to the rest of the world, to all beings, sentient and non-sentient. And as we sit in these words today, I know that everything that is said, everything that is shared, is from the divine as we open our hearts. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much. Love that. Thank you. Well, here we are. If you're wondering where that is, it's at 7220 North 16th Street. We're in building 1A, and you're never too late. So if you are en route, don't worry. We just got started. And you can always catch up. So we would love to still have you here in person if you're able to. Head on over. And make plans on your Sunday to be here with us. It's such a special energy when we're all in the room together. So I love though that we can do this online. I'm so grateful for those of us who don't live locally, like Evie's sister who's visiting us all the way from Australia. We're so happy to have her in person, but she can't do that obviously on the regular. So I'm grateful that we can broadcast live so that she can still see what's going on and what we're doing. She makes us global, by the way. So we are a global church. Yes. But anyway, our global community. So we have a new theme, and it is embodiment. I know Reverend Jeannie mentioned that last week, but it is embodiment, and that is such a big theme. How many weeks do we have to try to get through that? Yeah. Only 4. I don't know. It's a big theme, and I feel like more than ever, you know how you go through life, and when you're a parent especially, people say to you, you're going to you're planting seeds right now. They may not hear you right now, but maybe about the 10th time, or on the 10th time someone else tells them, they're like, hey, Mom, did you hear so-and-so told me this, and I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, I've been telling you for the past 10 years. And it's so frustrating as a parent, but in my own personal life, I do that same thing, where I see that with people, and I've recognized multiple times in my life that I may not be that 10th seed. I may not be the one they can hear, but I can plant it. And as it grows, as they grow, and as they move to each level and that seed grows, they get a little more information. It might not be through my mouth, it might be from someone else's mouth, a little bit more. Little soils added on there, a little fertilizer, a little water, a little sunlight. And all of a sudden the seed, it blooms, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do blah, blah. Yes, it's amazing. So you can't be upset if you told them 100 times and they finally come to you with this idea like you've never heard it before. It's got to be like, okay, I guess in your own time. But when you recognize that in your own self, when you're going through that in your own self, for me, it's been embodiment, I think. For the past couple of years, really thinking, have I been embodying? Do I have, or am I still on that, in the growth of that, in the trying to, where is that? What does that feel like? Because I thought I've done it multiple times. And then even seeing the word, my mind immediately goes to, that's cool, So our theme today being, I embody divine truth in every thought and action. That's an affirmation to aspire to every breath, because it would take that to do that in every action, right? I mean, it's a big word, it's a big call, and I'm glad you're here with me today to do that. Reverend Jeannie would have been also, all of us, I think if we think about that, we can see, like, am I embodying it, or is it just at my level where I'm at right now? And I think that's what I've been enlightened to is this week, and I didn't read ahead. I knew it was embodiment, but I didn't read ahead, and I'm thinking, I wrote this for myself this time, Ann. Just so you know.
Oh, okay.
This was for me.
Well, I can share.
Yeah. Because Miss Ann thinks we always write them for her, but we do. We write them for all of us because we are all one, and therefore here we are. But I recently watched a reel where the person was acting as the universe and then acting as the person. She was kind of back and forth in the screen, right? So she's the universe, and then the person says that they want something. She's like, okay, well, we'll just keep you in the place of wanting that then. And she's like, no, I don't. What? No. I'm gonna work really hard, and I'm gonna get that thing, and I'm gonna do it. Okay, perfect. We'll keep you in the place of really working and getting just to get. And she's like, what? How am I supposed to say it then? You know, she goes through like 3 or 4 iterations of that, and she gets frustrated. Now, how am I supposed to be? How else am I supposed to say it? And she says, well, if you are grateful for it, you just be grateful for it that you already have it. She's like, what do you mean grateful for it that I already have it? Now, I've heard this a million times, probably even more than that. But I know I've heard this statement over and over and over again from pulpit and other pulpit and this pulpit and my own and you, and I've heard it. And for some reason, the way she said it in that reel, something's clicked. Like, I don't think I've been recognizing it like that, because she said that if you understand that every possibility already exists, it's already there, right? There is no time. We address past and future and present and whatever, but there really isn't anything. So the thing that you are saying, I want this, it exists for you, but you are keeping yourself stuck here. It is already there. So if instead you say, I'm grateful that I have this amazing car, and your mind goes, you don't have that amazing car, that's wrong. You do. Your future self does. This part of you does. And so you're aligning with it, and I'm not even saying exactly how this woman said it. She said it so simply that it finally clicked to me, to where I can say those things and I don't fight myself on it. Like myself goes, yeah, like it's already there. It is there. And the gratitude, you're not claiming something that, I know this logically, and I know this, I've been taught this before. This is the first time I actually feel like I snapped it in. If that makes sense. It's a huge concept.
So there is that challenge of recognizing that, yes, in God's time in the universe, there is no time experience, and we're in this physical realm where there is a perception that's been created in this illusion, because we live in an illusion. And in this illusion, we experience something that we have labeled time.
It's another joke on
We
us.
do.
Right.
Yeah, we
Right.
do. You know, we have to be someplace at a particular time. You know, so there is a purpose in this illusion that we're living in, for there to be a perception of time. And I think that's where, like you were saying, I mean, I've had those challenges as well too, and I still do at times have challenges of, well, I don't have it yet. Well, maybe in my perception where I am right now, I don't have it.
And you're aligning with that then.
Exactly. Yeah. So recognizing, it's kind of hard to put into words the concept of saying, I know I already have it. I know that it's already mine. And quite honestly, I'm not quite there 100% with that for me. For me, I am more comfortable in going, it is coming to me. It's mine and it's coming to me. No, it's not here yet, but it's coming to me. It's on its way, and I am so grateful that it's coming to me, that I'm moving towards that. That's where because that's what keeps me from staying in that perception that I'm here. No, I'm moving forward towards it. So that helps me to understand that whole concept better, because like you and so many people, I'm like, no, don't tell me that I already have it. I don't. Where I am sitting here right now, I don't have it, but you know what? I'm moving towards that, and it's mine. It is mine, and I'm so grateful that it's mine, and that I'm moving towards it, and I'm pulling it towards me.
Right.
So that for me is what I've learned fairly recently that works for me. Yeah, because then I recognize I'm not having myself stuck in this place that I don't have. That's a temporary thing. That's
I like
just
that.
temporary.
I agree. And when you think about the quantum field and every possibility is already there, and there's all these little
Yes.
threads of everything, every single decision you make casts another multiple. It's just continuous, never ending, infinite possibilities, and it multiplies exponential on and on and on, like makes your brain hurt. But if so there's a me that has the thing I say I want, right? And there's a me that doesn't have the thing I say I want.
Mm-hmm.
There's a me that's wanting it. There's a me that doesn't have it. There's a me that doesn't want it. There's a me that wants it in a different color. There's a me that you know what I mean? There's me that has it and gets loose. I mean, there's all of that. Which one am I aligning with? So if I say, I'm so grateful that I have X, Y, Z, I'm aligning with that timeline. I'm saying, okay, with all these, I want this one, this timeline right here. I'm gonna align with you. I'm so grateful that that's the path I'm on, that's the one I get, that I get to have these things. I'm so grateful for it. And that's, I think the first one actually makes sense to me. That's what I'm doing when I'm saying, I'm so grateful. I'm choosing the line that I'm on.
Yes.
And I'm grateful for it. I'm so grateful that I'm, whatever, right? And I think when we're running around not embodying this divine truth in every thought and action, and we're running around embodying all the negativity and the fear and the stuff that's running around in this world, we are also not aligning with the things, with that life that we want. We are aligning with a life that's like these things that we're afraid of, that we don't like.
Yeah, well, what we're misaligned with is what I was referring to in my opening prayer, is that inner being. Because the inner being is not fearful. The inner being knows exactly what we want, what we can experience, all the experiences, the plethora of experiences that are available to us. And so when we are telling ourselves, no, that's not available to me, or no, that's not mine to have, we're misaligning with the inner being. And that's where the frequencies then begin to change, and why things appear to not be coming to us the way we want it to be, because we still are in that place of not aligning with our inner being, where the inner being is always going, that's the universe. That is always going, yes, it is yours, yes, it is yours, it
Whatever
is
you
yours,
say.
it is yours, yes, it is. And when you say it's not yours, yes, it is yours, yes, it is not yours.
Right.
Your wish is my command.
Exactly.
Whatever
Exactly.
you say.
Yeah. So that's that frequency that we get in struggles with when we are. Now, I want to really preface this with saying, when I say that when we align with the frequency of the world that tends to be chaotic and fearful, I want to preface that by saying some people are really in alignment with that. That is what their inner being wants to align with. And that's hard for a lot of us to understand. I was listening to Abraham Hicks, and she was interviewing someone who was talking to them about war, and why is there a purpose for war? Why is there? And they said, you won't want to hear this, but we're telling you, there are people who are fully aligned with being at war. They're living their highest life being at war. That's why it exists.
Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, that's why it's happening, because everything that's happening, people are aligning with it. So my question in my mind then goes, okay, so religions have taught us to have a lot of labels of things when it comes to spirituality. And so when I read this, when I sat down here and read this, the first thing my mind went was, what is divine truth? What is divine truth? And I think it's important as individuals that we ask ourselves, for me, what is divine truth? Because my divine truth may not look like yours. Or it may not look like yours.
There's no one divine truth.
That's right. That's the whole point. Religions have taught us, many religions have taught us that there's only one divine truth. That's not my reality. There is not just one divine truth. And it gets revealed over and over again, almost in levels. It gets revealed this because the Bible says, the Christian Bible says this, and a lot of the New Thought teachings say this too. We only are aware of what we're open to. That what is it? The God, your God is revealed to you as you
Yes.
are open to that revelation.
That's why you can plant the seeds and people don't,
That's
that's why you
right.
can talk about things and it just, they don't, goes right by them.
That's
Right over their head and say, they're not, they
can't hear you.
oh, it's like,
not putting up the microphone.
I'm concerned about them not hearing.
Yeah, sorry about that. I keep forgetting to do it. But it goes right, the information goes right by them. And I know I've experienced this when I was younger, that I had a mother-in-law who talked basically religious science principles to me all the time. I thought she was nuts. I thought she was weird and kooky. And she was trying to explain stuff to me, and I thought she was very strange. And then as I evolved, I started to recognize what she was telling me, but I couldn't hear her at that time because my level of understanding was where it was, and she was somewhere else, and I just thought she's over here in some la la woo land, doing I don't know what in the world she's, it's to me it was strange stuff, And I remember she could hypnotize you, she did Reiki, she did muscle testing and all kinds of stuff. So this was 30 years ago.
Wow.
So think of me 30 years ago. That was weird to me. But I played in it. It was fun, like the muscle testing thing was fun that she would do. Like, well, should you have that or not? Here, put it in your hand. I'm like, okay, like she's so weird, but okay, it was funny, it was just funny. And today I know that this stuff, she was so ahead of her time. She was just so ahead of it that she was trying to impart this knowledge to me that I couldn't hear. So because I've had that experience, I understand, like talking to my children or talking to who have been raised in religious science, but they can't hear me right now. And I understand that. And I'm not upset about it. Even my oldest son, who is that woman's grandson, I think he can hear some things, but not all things. And he's 34 years old, so I'm like, oh yeah, that's weird about that age. So I'm not worried about it, right?
Yeah.
Because we all have that path and we all have that thing that we are doing. And it is different for each one of us because we hit our different levels at different times, and our levels are all different. We're not playing the same video game.
Right.
So it's all different for everybody. And it's so weird that this is what we're talking about because this is the revelation I've had this week. See how weird it is. And the things I've been realizing about myself, like maybe I need to sit with myself for a minute. I need to reassess a couple things. And then I don't know how many of you know Greg Peterson. I love Greg Peterson. I haven't seen him for a very long time. And he posted something recently on Facebook. It was very interesting to me. And it was in a direct alignment with what I was thinking about. But he was saying how he had spent so many years being an entrepreneur, and he launched over 30 businesses in his time. He's now 65 years old, and his body is reaping the benefits of that now. He's dealing with that, and he's recognizing some things about that maybe, and he's living. I don't know how to paraphrase for him because I don't remember it all. But go watch that. I thought it was very enlightening. But it made me think to myself, okay, so that question to yourself of, and you just like kind of put the hammer on the head of the nail when you said, what is my divine truth? Because that's what I've been questioning this week. Like, what is for me to do? And I am a serial entrepreneur. Like, I think that way all the time. I drive by an empty building, like, ooh, I want that building. I'm like, no, you don't. What are you doing? Stop. I could put something in there. Yeah, okay, like, knock it off. But that's how my head works. What is that? And he said that it was the good enough. And maybe I'll think I'm good enough now. I've done all this, so I could just rest and be good enough now. And I'm like, wow, am I spinning and spinning and doing and creating? Is it because I feel that way? What is that? So this week I'm gonna sit with myself and find that my inner voice and my divine truth, and I'll give it some space to speak, because I don't think I've been doing that, at least not enough. And they say if you do that for 20 or 30 minutes, you're going to get some answers. You just shut up and stop moving for 20 or 30 minutes, and go and tell you. And I've not done that. Not in a very long time. True, can I get a microphone over to Evie, please? So it's a very, I always feel it's pretty interesting when things align like this.
I would say I'm kind of on the verge of that too, maybe not quite the verge you were at, because I'm going to be 70 and I'm thinking, I don't have a whole lot of years left, and why am I killing myself right now? And I have the same aches and pains, and like, do I have to have these aches and pains? Do I have to get up and go to work every day? Do I have to do this? Is that my worth? Yes, it is my worth, and I recognize that. My self-worth is in what I do, not in who I am. And I keep thinking, but I hope I have so few years left. If I would change now, it's never going to change. And so I haven't quite gotten to the level you're at where I need to sit and think about it, but it's getting close, because every time I turn around, I look at Chris, who seems to be living her life really well. She's younger than me, not much, but she's younger. It kind of throws me for a loop that I could be this old, not that I'm old, but this old, and not know what I want to do when I grow up. I've never really known what I wanted to be when I've grown up, because I've never been worth being anything other than what I do for a living, and be absolutely excellent, perfect at my job, which is true. So hearing that the divine truth is actually, the divine truth is that it's very personal. That is the divine truth. It's very personal.
Yes.
I don't have to do it because somebody else wants me to do it. I don't have to do it because a family member wants me to do it. I have to do it because my pets want me to do it. I have to do it because anybody wants me to do it, because I need to do it for me. And I need to take better care of my health. That's part of the problem. If my health was in excellent condition, it wouldn't be so bad. But I'm starting to feel the effects of my health. So it's good to hear this, that you're doing this at a younger age than I am, and that I can work my way to that point and maybe even pay more attention now.
I love that you're sharing that, Evie, because I love what you said, divine truth. The divine truth is that it's very personal. I love that. That just hit me hard when you said that. It's so personal. And for Greg to get on there and share all of that was so amazing, because maybe a lot of us are going through this right now, that questioning and that desire to be quiet for a minute and just listen, and every time I see, I love those, you guys know what a schoolie is? Schoolie? You know, a school bus.
Oh, I never
When people take a school bus and they convert it into a tiny home, and they either use it as an RV and it actually runs and they drive it around, or they use it as a tiny home and they build it and then it stays somewhere. Yeah. And they are gorgeous. I mean, I've seen so many that are not good. They're just like thrown in there. But I've seen so many that are stunning, like gorgeous. And you're like, I would live in that. I almost salivate when I see those. It's like, why are you reacting like that? You want to sell your house and do a schoolie? And my kids are like, well, I'm not going to do that with you. And that's probably one of the only reasons why I'm not, like, seriously, like, because my soul is like, if you just took all the burdens off, you should have the house, you should have this, and take it all away, and you just live like that, like, and then you could wake up in the morning and not go to work. You could write that book, you could play with your dogs, you could be by the beach.
It gets to be drudgery when all you do is get up, go to work, come home, go to bed, and you do that almost 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been doing that for 50 years now, and I'm getting a little bit tired of it.
What's it for? Yeah. Yeah, I'll show you some schoolie buses, and you can see this. If you drool too, maybe we'll have a group of us.
There is something to be said about perceived cycles that the human body goes through in aging, you know, and it's not unusual. I mean, scientists can give you all kinds of explanations. There's a certain age where you actually start learning, and you know, your brain actually starts developing to the point where you can really learn and mature, you know, and that it's different for males and females and all that stuff, you know, which is important information.
I think midlife crises are part of that too.
It is.
Yes.
Life crises. Yes, life
I'm
crises
having a
are.
midlife crisis, is that what you're saying?
I already had 3 or 4 of them, so I don't know.
Past
Yeah,
midlife, though.
yeah.
I'm past
I'm glad you brought that up because that was kind of where I was heading. We see them as life crises, but what they really are is they're cycles of consciousness that comes through our brain, and we begin to see things differently and perceive things differently. And it feels like a crisis because it can oftentimes be because other people define it that way, because it puts us on a different path than we've been on and what everybody else thinks that we should be on. You know, a lot of people don't want us to change the path that we're on because it's comfortable to know that you're there, you know. But there's something to be said about as we age, and I don't want to alienate males. I can only talk as a female in this experience. Males go through this as well too. I know as a female, as I got closer to my 60s, and now I'm in my 70s, and my perception is very different. I'm done chasing anything. I'm not chasing after anything. When I hit my 60s, I started going, when is it enough?
Yeah.
I already started questioning, when is it enough? Because everybody around me, I kept hearing what I heard everybody saying around me was, you need to do more, you need to want more, you need to manifest more. What's your next goal? What's your next goal? Let's set up your next goal. What's your goals for this year?
Right.
And every time they would say that, I would cringe and I'd go,
I have
no.
goals.
No, I'm done. You know, I would shut down. I'd just be quiet. I wouldn't take the classes, but I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't say anything. I'm like, no. And inside, I was going, there must be something wrong with me because I don't want to set goals.
Right. I feel that way.
You know, I don't set goals now. You know, I set short-term goals. Today I'm going to do this.
Right.
Maybe next week I plan on doing this. But I gave up on doing long-term goals. And I am learning more and more to really rest in the place of knowing that I'm always going to want more.
It's the human nature.
It's just human nature. Well, and it's not just human nature. I'm a creator.
Yeah.
I'm a creator. I'm always creating something more. So there's always going to, however, it's changing for me now to the point where I'll go, you know, I think I'd like to experience this. It's more for me about the experience than it is about the physical manifestation.
I agree.
And when I do that, there's something that opens, I'm realizing more and more every time I do that, there's something that opens up in me that then draws to me what that experience is. And it takes me off of my expectation of what the material thing is about. So now the material stuff that comes to me, they're all like gifts because I didn't plan for it, I didn't expect it, I didn't demand it. It's like a surprise because I'm only looking for the experience. You know, I was sitting at my desk doing my work one day and I went, yeah, I think I'd like to take on a couple more clients. 2 more clients would be good. And I just let it go. And within 2 weeks, I had 2 new clients. And not only did I have 2 new clients, one of them is highly connected to Abraham Hicks. The other one does student loans. So she's helping my grandson. You know, and watching this unfold is going, wow. I wouldn't know to ask for that. I would have asked for something else, but because I didn't ask for specifically anything, I think I'd like to experience 2 new clients. And there they are. You know, so that to me has taken a lot of what felt like burden off of my ego of going, oh, it should be like this and it should be like that. And I'm just like, life is just about experiences. I like a new experience. I'm not even going to say what that is right now. I just want a new experience. You know? And things happen that sometimes I go, oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to know the bad though in order to appreciate the good.
Well, see, that's it. Everything is in balance.
It's all relative.
Absolutely. Everything is, and the comment was that, you know, the take the good with the bad. I'm not so comfortable with using good and bad anymore, labels.
The less
but
pleasant.
the less pleasurable.
Right.
You know, in the last week, I've had 3 of my major appliances needing work. You know, and that can sometimes feel like, gotta call a repair person in. All 3 of them didn't cost me a dime. Not one dime. Because they were under warranty, and what was going on was nothing that I did. You know, and every one of those repair people that came in, they were so friendly and nice. I mean, it was I didn't feel uncomfortable having this unknown person in my home, and I'm not always real comfortable having unknown people come in my home. You know, and because I didn't allow myself, I just went, oh well, it's something I got to take care of because I want this working better than when it's working. You know, and it eased up so easy. But
My example of that is when I had knee surgery. I swore I would never ever in my life do that again, because it was one of the most unpleasant experiences of my life. But now, 2 years later, I'm thinking that wasn't so bad. I think I'll have the other one done pretty soon. So you know, you forget how bad it was, if it was even bad to begin with. I'm pretty sure it was bad. But the experience I've had with how good it is now, I think I can do the other one because it can be good too.
yes,
So yeah, it's like. I remember a relative of mine one time who told me that childbirth was the most painful thing she'd ever experienced. I said, well, why did you have 5 more then? So you forget.
And the reward is great.
that's it. That is the
reward
on
is
the other
great,
side.
yeah.
Exactly. Just like you're saying, the reward
reward.
of how well your knee feels. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to balance, like there's a balance there, like what would you be willing, like,
Is the negative consequence so severe that you wouldn't do the thing? No, it's not that. You know, it's like kids who, what was this? There was a story that someone told. I was like, oh, I think it was Greg Bear. It was Greg Bear. Remember Dr. Greg Bear?
Yeah.
He told a story about his son. I think it was Greg Bear. Anyway, going out and then not coming home by curfew. He had the car to come back up for curfew. The first time the dad was livid, furious. You're grounded for a month. No car, no this, no that, and whatever. The night the month was over, and he got the car back. Don't you know that boy was out again past curfew and really late. Now the dad, I'm thinking it's Greg Bear, maybe he told this story as an example, was sitting there thinking to himself, okay, so that negative consequence wasn't negative enough. So whatever that boy's doing right now, you can let your imagination run wild. That was worth it to him to be grounded for a month. And that's how we work a lot of the time, right? So that was I have a son that went through knee surgery. I saw that experience. I'm telling you, it was awful, but the result was worth that. So now you're contemplating, is it that bad that I wouldn't want the other knee fixed? No, it's not bad enough that I wouldn't do it again. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's interesting how negative is it though, compared to what we get as the result. You know, we're very complicated creatures running around out here. You know.
You know. So here's a question, Amy. If you believe that you are the essence, the energy, the frequency of that pure energy of that we call God, universe, whatever. if you believe that you really are that energy, is it possible that you have the capability in your brain to reprogram it before you go into that surgery so that the experience is different for you?
I actually thought about this because I thought, so now that I know what it's like, I think I can prepare myself better.
Yes.
Now, sometimes people say, well, it was so bad, I don't want to do it again, but I had no idea what to expect, absolutely zero. I heard both good and bad, like, oh my God, it was the worst thing, oh, it was no big deal. And so I was kind of leaning toward the no big deal part. It wasn't no big deal.
Yeah,
It was a big deal.
prepared.
But now that I kind of know what to expect, I think I can be prepared mentally for it. And I know this sounds crazy, but the only reason I don't do it right now is because I don't have the time, because I've got so much planned and I need time off and don't have the time off, etc. And I need somebody to take care of me and that sort of stuff. That's the only reason I haven't planned it. Otherwise, I'd be doing it right now. I almost look forward to it happening so that my other knee is as good as my other knee now. So it's bizarre, I know.
I would like to share with you I was tickled because as I was asking you that question, even though I was looking at you, I could see your sister and she was. So I would like to share with everybody an experience that I had before I really was deep into New Thought teachings, but it was more of a natural thing for me. I was hiking with my children, and no need to go into deep details, but an unusual accident happened. We were up in the White Mountains, and we'd gone far up enough that you couldn't get out easily, and I stepped wrong and broke my ankle. And not only did I break my ankle, I broke it in 3 different places, but I didn't know it at the time. But we're walking, and there's this noise, and my daughter turns around. She was in front. She turns around and goes, "What was that?" And I went, "That was my ankle." So I got my first and only helicopter ride out of there.
Oh my goodness.
The surgery was a horrendous experience for me, and I lost, to this day still, I lost 2 days after the surgery, but I don't know how I got home. I don't have memory of anything after 2 days after it happened. Well, I had so much metal in my leg and my ankle that as it healed, to walk, it was painful. It was so painful. Physical therapy and the physical therapist said to me, "I think you need to go have an x-ray and look at how much metal is in there, because I think that what is going on is that metal is rubbing against all your bones, so as you try to walk, it's constantly pinching and rubbing against your bones." Well, the surgeon, when we went for a follow-up, the surgeon didn't have the best bedside manner from the East Coast. And at the time, my husband said, "She still limps because she has pain. What can be done about it?" He goes, "Nothing, that she'll just have to live with that." And when we walked out of there, I looked at my husband and I said, oh no, I'm not coming back to him, and I'm not going to accept this. I refuse to accept this. So after going through a lot of stuff trying to find a surgeon, because most surgeons don't want to undo another surgeon's work.
Right.
It's so weird, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I had heard that it's possible once the bones were healed that you can have the metal removed. So I finally found, wasn't even a real orthopedic surgeon, he was a DO. And they're on the west side, and I contacted him, and he said, "Come in and let me take a look." Well, he agreed to take, he said, "You're right, the bones are completely healed." And he said, we can take the metal out for you. And I went, okay. I was scared. Because I didn't want to go through that again, because it was really a challenge for me. Mm-hmm. And so I went to a hypnotherapist. I went for acupuncture, and I created myself a tape of meditation music. And I said to him, I want to listen to this the whole time that I'm in surgery. And he said, well, I have to get approval from the anesthesiologist. And I said, okay, so he did. So I had that planned for him the whole time I was in surgery. The next thing I knew, I'm laying in bed in the recovery room, and I'm still listening to this music. And I just happened to open my eyes, and this guy, one of the nurses, walked by and backed up and walked back again. He goes, I have never seen anybody in recovery with a smile on their face. He said, you're sitting there smiling. You look like you're in heaven. And I went, I am. I am. And it was the easiest. The recovery was much faster because I took the time. First, I said, no, I'm not going to have this experience again. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to accept what he's saying. So I knew at that point that I had the ability to take control of that and change. But like you said, the first time I had no idea what was going on. No idea whatsoever. So there was no way for me to know what to experience.
Can I borrow that
Exactly.
tape? Can I borrow that
Exactly.
tape in July?
Yeah. This was years ago, honey. I don't have anymore, but
Yeah, a tape, I know.
it was. It was.
As soon as you say tape, they're all like, oh, yeah, we don't have
What's a tape?
Yeah, what?
It was. I have a
Doctors,
little portable cassette tape player that I
Back
took
in
with
the
me.
day, back in
Yeah.
the day.
Well, I want this song that comes out of the tablet for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that story. Yeah, we can reframe the past and
That became my
the
divine
future
truth.
too. Yeah.
That was my divine truth, and it
Yeah.
came through me. One more thing. I have been reading recently about physical pain and the connection to our spiritual beliefs. And the thought is that we experience physical pain. It's our body telling us that we are not fully connected to our inner being. And so it gets our attention. And so when you think about that, Louise Hayes, people like that, that have determined in their perception that our body is responding to our emotions and our thoughts. That makes sense. If I really am focusing on being connected to my inner being that is full of peace and love, that loves me and cares for me and always is there, meets my needs, all of my needs, then there would be no reason to be in pain.
Right.
And there's a truth to focusing on the pain too, because I sometimes get up and go to work and my back is killing me, and I don't think I'm going to make it through the day. And as long as I start focusing on other than the pain,
Yeah.
it suddenly goes away, and I don't have it at all during the day until I start focusing on it again at night on the way home.
Yeah.
So it's very strange to me that it can hurt so much when I'm focusing on it and not at all when I'm not.
I think it's going to keep your brain up.
Yeah.
She's saying keep your brain on, keep my
When I gave birth to both of my children, I did it completely drug-free because I used self-hypnosis. It was controlling my brain to think of something else, to focus on something else, focus on breathing, focus on other than what my body was experiencing. Yeah.
Okay. So
Namaste.
Anne's gonna think this is for her again. Why are we talking about all these surgeries? Oh, totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so embodying that divine truth in every thought and action takes maybe some practice. Maybe some work around it. Maybe some deciding what we're gonna think and act, how we're gonna think and act, right? So it's not just some, forcing, we're just gonna have this divine thought and action and then so a little bit of pre-planning, it's almost like all these basketball games are going on. They do a lot of pre-work, and then that's what shows up in the game.
Well, I think it comes back especially to what you started off saying is, what is my divine truth? Taking the time to really engage in that and recognize consciously what is divine truth for me. Am I doing this right now? And like always, we got to be real careful with some of our affirmations because I am doing this today. I'm doing this in all of my actions and my thoughts. uh-oh, I'm not doing this today. You know? We're human. And we're having this human experience. And a big part of this human experience is to do and not do. You know? Hit the mark and miss the mark. That's part of the
How does that feel?
experience.
Both sides,
Exactly.
both ways. Sometimes
Yeah.
we're happy. We think we're going to be so happy when we hit the mark, and we don't hit the mark. I'm like, actually, we're pretty happy. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't get the thing I thought I wanted, but I'm glad I didn't get the thing because I'm happier over here.
Yeah.
So it's,
I love that.
yeah.
And I was just gonna say, so there is a law of physics. As you get older, you just start to fall apart. It just is the nature
Yes.
of physics.
La
You
la
can't
la la, I
actually-
can't hear you. La, 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 la,
But a lot of it has to do with your mindset
Yeah.
too. I mean, there's lots of 97-year-old people who run marathons that probably hurt. They just don't allow it to affect them because they focus on who they are and not on the pain. And I wish I could be, well, I am like that. I just haven't achieved it yet.
Good. Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
My mom always thought she was old. She always talked like
Yeah.
she was old. My dad was 19 years older than her, so you can see what her mindset was like. She married a man quite a bit older than her because she already thought that was her age. And so as she got older, and she let her hair become mostly, well, almost all gray at one point, and she just kind of lived in this older mindset. And I'd say to her, Mom, I have clients in their 80s who are starting new companies, who are traveling around the world. They go play golf, and they get these young folks to run for their money. Like, this is in your mind. You are deciding that you are old. You are not old. At 60 or whatever, because she died at 67. So, like, in your 60s, you are, I'm sorry, but you are not old. You are still a baby. But you are telling this over and over and over to yourself. So yeah, you're gonna look old, you're gonna feel old, I know young women with gray hair, and they're rocking it. They look incredible. But she thought that made her old. It's like, because that's what you think. There are women today that dye their hair that color on purpose.
Yeah.
Honestly, what you need is a point of comparison, which I had the other day. I was at a doctor's office getting a Prolia shot for my osteoporosis, which makes me feel old, but a lot of people have it. It's hereditary.
Those shots are awesome.
And I was, a lady rolls in with a guy in a wheelchair. She was in the wheelchair and he was pushing her. She was all hunched over, looked like she was in her 90s. Rolled up to the desk and the lady said, with your name and your birth date, and she said 1/1/57. I said, oh my God, I'm younger than she, or I'm older than she is. That could be me. I gotta change my way of thinking. So it was really a wake up call for me.
Well, yeah, it's just like the commercial that had a woman with like this light brown hair, but you could see little wisps of gray in it, and she had like polyester pants and a nice plaid shirt, and she just was dressed like an older woman in a little sweater, and she was having this conversation, and it was some advertisement for some, I guess a medicine or something, and then they said something about her being 53 years old, now younger than me, and they made her look so old, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, this is, it really is in your mindset. You can be this way. True, I need to get a mic over here. You can be this way, or you can be that way. Like I met a man one time who was 40. I don't remember how old I was. I must have been in my 30s, and his wife had just passed, and his sister was my client. She's like, she wanted to set me up with him, so I did meet him. The man was like my father. He even chunked the change in his pocket like my dad did. He had dressed like my dad, like you looked like my dad, and he was only 40 years old. My dad looked like that in his 70s, and this man looked and that's what the sister was worried about. Like he's just had aged so much through the process of his wife dying, rightly so, that he just was in the space. And she thought, you're vibrant, and maybe you get him going. I'm like, oh my gosh, no! Like this is my dad. I can't even think of him like that. So it's up here, yeah.
So I have had the same lady cut my hair for probably 30 years, and we're dear friends, and she's science mind. But I was getting tired of coloring my hair, the expense and the trip up, just the process of it. But she kept telling me that I was terrible with gray hair. She kept telling me she didn't want me to do that. So during the pandemic, of course, a lot of things changed, and I let my hair grow out, and I loved it. At first, it was a little darker than I wanted. Then it got to the place where I loved it. Now the dichotomy here is that at the same time that I'm embracing my gray hair, I'm all good with it. I'm fine with it. I still think I'm 30 in my head. This becomes a problem if I'm thinking about dating somebody, because I want somebody who's about 40 and they don't want grandma. At least I haven't found anybody yet that wants grandma. So, except for Logan, of course. But it's just that dichotomy of accepting, and then there's a part of me that is still young, and that feeds the rest of it. You know, that feeds it in a powerful way that, you know, I don't feel like I'm almost 74. You know.
You don't look like it either. It is. It's just a number. And it's in our minds as to what that number means. We're deciding what that means. So like that commercial decided that a woman in her 50s is old and made her look like that. I'm like, I do see women like that a lot, and I see women that look a lot younger than that. Yes, and doing a lot of things and running around. So it's just like they see all the women in what was that show? All the Golden Girls. They were all in their 40s and their 50s. Back then. Because back then that's what old looked like, you know, and today that's not, I'm sorry, like that's no.
That's my husband's 86, and that's what his favorite saying is. Age is only a number.
Age is only.
That's
no,
awesome.
He was that old because he's slowing down, but he tries to
Gets on the ladder to clean the gutters.
Yeah.
Which scares me.
And it's really funny because we'll be out somewhere and they'll say, God, look at that old man over there. I say, well, I bet that man's younger than you.
That sounds familiar to me. I was at a concert.
You guys are gonna have to take my
Yeah. I was at a concert with a friend who's, you know, somewhat younger, and I'm looking around, and I said to her, "Isn't it cute how all these Q-tip heads know all the words to the songs?" And she said, "Anne, they're your age."
Oh, really?
That can't be.
Really?
Well, they were singing the song, so that was good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's just in our minds, people. It's in your mind. But yes, I embody divine truth, and every thought and action is a calling for sure. But I think it's something we can be working on. And I like that we've kind of discovered, give ourselves some time to do that.
Yeah.
And decide how we want to show up. And then I think then it would be a lot easier to embody divine truth in every thought and action if we knew what that divine truth even was.
That's true, yeah.
So I think we need to host let's just sit together for 30 minutes and be quiet in our own minds. We do it together. Let's set a date for that. We'll just be in the other room and sit in those comfy chairs, turn the lights off, and we'll just sit and we'll discover our divine truth together. How about that? I love it.
Plan.
I know. That sounds good to me. We're going to book it. All right. Maybe in 2 weeks when I'm probably going to do it myself before that, but we should book something like that. How are you feeling? You feeling complete? Do you have anything else you want to add?
Anybody else feel?
Anything else?
Awesome.
Everybody feel good? Okay. I'm going to pray us out then.
Excellent.
Oh my goodness. What energy today. Maybe that Australian energy. I don't know. Something about having an Australian here in the room. It's just awesome. Let's take some big breaths. Let's just I feel like my body is just vibrating rapidly. Just so much energy in the room. I recognize that power. I recognize that energy. I recognize how it moves in, through, and as me. As it moves in, through, and as everyone here present. I feel it. It's divine. It's strong. It's love. It's joy. We each embody that. We each embody that presence, that energy. each unique, each one of us in our own way, in our own experiences. Yet we are the one. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the openness, the sharing, the conversation and the ideas. I'm grateful for the hearts. Is my body and my mind still almost throbs with that sensation? I don't even know how to name it. But simply it feels like that connection. I'm grateful for our presence. I'm grateful for this moment. I'm grateful for this topic, this affirmation at this time that led to these thoughts, this discovery. Next movements, ideas of how to embody divine truth that each of us already are. How do we embody that in this human experience? The answers are personal. The answers are only ours, yet they are all of ours. And it is a blessing. It is a blessing to know that each of us has our own unique way to move, yet we are all moving. So I let it go. I know that it is and always has been and always will be divinely guided and blessed. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
This was very, very perfect timing for me. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here and sharing. I love how everybody was just sharing. That's so powerful in the room. I can still feel it. It's so strong and powerful in here. Which is why we keep trying to tell you to come be here with us, because I hope that it translates through the screen and into your mind and your heart, and I know it does. There is a ripple effect from us now out into the universe. I do understand that, but it's palatable in here. And I'm grateful that I was on the sofa today. And thank you for saying yes. And I think this was the perfect combination for today. So hopefully it inspired you. It was the perfect right message today for you as it was for me. And all of us benefit and all of us know our next move so that we can really embody our divine truth. And if that spoke to you, if what we do here speaks to you, we would love your support. We would love for you to subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, share it, let your friends know we're here. The algorithm kind of likes that. So we want the algorithm to like us so that everybody can benefit from what naturally comes through spirit here on the sofa and in this room. If you're on Facebook, seeing us on Facebook, the same thing. If you could heart it, if you could comment, do a little GIF on there. That's the algorithm loves this kind of stuff. And so we're looking for more engagement, more sharing, and more, to grow our community. And another way that you can do that is to show up in this room, to bring your friends, to show up here to help us grow this community in person. We're all so powerful together, and even more powerful when we can just be in the same room together. And the final way would be, and such a blessing to us, financial support is always welcome. And you can do that very simply at our website at beginwithinministries.com, which at the bottom of the page, there's a place to donate. And it's a simple one-time donation or tithe, whatever you want to call it, is wonderful. And you can also become a spiritual church club partner, which is somebody that regularly donates either $45 or more for an individual, $75 or more for a family or a couple. But that is to support the ministry. The purpose is to help the ministry grow, to help us produce things like our affirmation cards and our classes and our workshops and the other things that we have going and helping the ministry grow. We also, everyone gets their little mug too. And so we would love that if you feel called to do that as well. I think I've said all the things. Thank you so much again for being here. It's always wonderful as always. And you're going to get a second dose of Miss Deborah Covington next week too, because I'm gone and she will be here with Reverend Jeannie. And I didn't think anybody would mind. So I thought you guys would be very happy with that. So thank you all for being here. Have a happy Sundays. Try to stay cool if you're here in Arizona. We love you and blessings to you.
Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Time, or Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.